the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is good for? Absolutely. Let's get started.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here in the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
I want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And allow my co-host to explain just what you're listening to right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
You are listening to two college-age, millennial, conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole, Brooklyn, New York, where we're committed to defending the principles of freedom, free markets, and individualism. We hold no punches here on the show.
Yeah, that's right. Right here on the show, we hold no punches. Political correctness is not our bag. It's just what we do. We are a different type of show. College millennials giving to you what it is that we do. Giving you the truth right here on the Vito and Vito Show. And we are holding no punches. Listen, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We have the Pope, Antonin Scalia. We got some interviews with some hosts, with some reporters. Whoa. We got, and it's been a long day. It's been a real long day. It's been all that Common Core math. I've decided to go back to school, Vito.
I just dropped it.
I've decided to go back and get a real education, an education that is based around, logic and good reasoning skills, and that is Common Core. No, I'm joking. I wanted to give myself a headache. It's like you want to get high. That's what Common Core is like to me. You want to get so high that you just go back and you take some Common Core classes, and you're like, wow. You walk out of the class, you have no idea what's going on because your head doesn't make any sense. That's what it is. You think down is up and up is down. This it's unbelievable. When you look at the Common Core stuff, I want to talk about this for a quick second. You look at a lot of the Common Core stuff, and you notice that it don't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Like this, ladies and gentlemen, is your college level ready courses.
Yeah, just like your grammar.
Yeah, that's nice. As a college student, you sit there, you deal with this stuff. It don't make any sense. You walk in the room. You got to sit here. You got to sit down. This is supposed to prepare you for college. It's Common Core stuff. When parents can't get the work, you got to explain to me just how a kid's supposed to get the work. I don't get it. I'm perplexed. Because I sat through one of these Common Core classes, and I find it to be mind-numbing when you sit there and have to deal with the Common Core math and the Common Core reading. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're sitting there, number one, and they're telling you to add a specific amount of numbers together, but you don't just add 5 plus 3. You're supposed to take the prime factors of 5, and like you're sitting there, you're doing all this work to come up with just 8. I mean, if you're a parent listening to this show, you have to be in 100% agreement with me when I say that Common Core is just sick.
And now they have the parents. They need the parents to come in to teach them what to do and how to help their kids at home. It's absolutely ridiculous. The teacher's supposed to be teaching the students, not just not the parents. It's ridiculous. And during the week, I sometimes work over at the school in the after school. In the school, I see what they put up on the walls. Here's how the students feel about whatever, and they, talking about worrying about how they feel. They can't even write down what they want to say. And then I try to help these kids with the Common Core math and all this different homework, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Kids don't understand it. And I try to show them a different way to do the math, like a simple way, how I was taught. Common sense, adding and subtracting.
No, you're not allowed to do that. State-sanctioned test.
Mm-hmm. You have to show the work, and you have to do it the Common Core way on these tests. You know? Or the kids will get it wrong, so you can't even teach them a different way. It has to be their way or no way. And that does not help kids learn. That does not help the education in this country.
I shudder when I realize Common Core is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe the government push for something like Common Core. But hey, I just, before we go any further, I just want to talk about some presidential candidates that are against Common Core. Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, great supporters of the anti-Common Core movement. Love them. Like Donald Trump says about Jeb Bush all the time, he's, weak on immigration. He's totally in favor of Common Core. And he's right. Donald Trump's 100% right. Jeb Bush and most of these establishment guys are going to support Common Core. That's just that. So wake up and elect somebody on the outside so you can not have to deal with the Common Core because they hear you. Okay? Listen, go to our website right now, www.vitoandvito.com. Check out the book, Common Ground on Common Core. Common Ground on Common Core. There is no blood. Common Ground on Common Core.
And no Al Gore.
Yeah, none of that. So it's a book written by everybody on the political spectrum. Socialists, Democrats, Libertarians, Conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, whatever. They're all there, moderates, and they all come together to write this book to talk about the ridiculousness of Common Core. They talk about how Common Core is crazy, disgusting, it's mind-numbing, it hurts children, it retards them, it retards their growth as in their educational experiences. So this is what is going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go there right now. The book is called Common Ground on Common Core. They're written by parents. It's written by teachers. It's written by some students, professors, researchers. It's all there on the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Save 10% when you go and type in Vito and Vito as the promo code. Save 10% when you type in Vito and Vito as the promo code. Common Ground on Common Core. The foe is by Ron Paul. Ron Paul, of course, a champion of small government. And that is why we love the work that he does. So we do. We love it right now. Common Ground on Common Core. Get it today. Type in Vito and Vito. Save 10% at www.vitoandvito.com. Click on this icon on the left-hand corner of the screen. Listen, Vito, Pope Francis wants Donald Trump not to build a wall. He said Christians build bridges, not walls.
Except there's a massive wall surrounding Vatican City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So you want to talk about hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen, coming from the most holiest of the holiest?
Jesus would be upset.
What
would Jesus do?
What would WWJT? What would Jesus do? This, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get one thing clear and one thing clear right now. The Vatican is surrounded by a wall for protection. The Great Wall of China was set up to stop against the Mongolian invasions, okay?
Israel has a wall.
Israel has a wall to protect from the Arab invasions, from the Muslim infiltration. Walls are a good thing. The White House has a fence. There's a wall in the south west corner of the country that has over 90% effective rate in stopping illegals from coming over the border. Get the Pope in all his majesty, with his fancy hat, his fancy cane.
Pope-mobile.
He's going to sit here and he's going to say that it's not a Christian thing to want to build a wall. This Pope's got some line of logic. Because if you're telling me that people like the Pope don't want to build a wall, they don't want to build something to stop you from coming over. They want it open. They don't want protection of property. They think that illegal immigration is good immigration.
It's an act of love.
It's an act of love. It's Jeb Bush. If this is the stuff that you're willing to throw your support behind, God help you. God help you. So if you're sitting here and you're telling me that Pope Francis is just, oh, he's a holy man, he's a man of Christ. It's not a Christian thing not to have a wall. I've seen already MSNBC and a lot of these other liberal commentators. Saloon was putting something out that said, even the Pope agrees with young kids and liberals on free immigration. That's not even remotely logical to have a country and no borders. I've never seen any country survive without borders. It is absolutely impossible. If you don't believe in borders, keep your front door unlocked.
You're not a country without borders.
All right?
Secure borders to keep the country safe. All right, it's not because a few people are coming over the border. There's disease, there's terrorists, there's crime, there's so many other problems, and we need to close it. And the Pope and the left don't understand this. All right. That's the problem.
Yeah, and they don't understand it because they're following this sort of version of Marxism. That's really what it is. It's this like diluted version of Marxism. It's not ultimate socialism in the traditional sense of Marx, but it is a form. They try to take elements of capitalism, they try to take elements of socialism and put them together, and voila, you got Bernie Sanders and the Pope. Yeah, exactly that. Bernie Sanders and the Pope go hand in hand. The Pope thinks that healthcare is a right, that we need free water. The Pope takes the bus, the common man, whatever. It's just total BS. But if you cannot sit here, claim and make the argument that the Pope, Bernie Sanders, all this new age progressivism is a positive thing for the country, and that Donald Trump, which is the more I listen to him, is the more I'm starting to like him. Donald Trump today putting out a statement because it was basically directed towards him. I mean, if you think about it, this whole thing was directed towards Donald Trump. The Pope did not hold back. So Donald Trump has a statement up, as Vito fumbles through his paperwork over there. He does have a statement up from Donald Trump, the man who wants to build a wall. Who, by the way, I think is the only candidate that politically can get away with building a wall. I think so. I think he's the only candidate that can get away with building a wall. He has that ability to do so. He is Donald Trump. If he gets that done, he will be a successful president. Okay, if Donald Trump builds a wall, he will be a successful president. Because that is his sole intention of the campaign, is basically building a wall. I mean, that's the only policy that I really think Donald Trump has elaborated on. That is tax policy. But his main thing that he's advocating for is the wall. And if he can somehow get the blockage of all Muslim immigration, God bless him. Good luck to him. But I got news for you. I don't think he'll get it.
And Donald Trump responded by saying, if and when the Vatican is attacked by ISIS, which as everyone knows is ISIS's ultimate trophy, I can promise you that the Pope would have wished and prayed that Donald Trump would have been president, because that would never have happened. And for a religious leader to question a person's faith is disgraceful. I think that's a great response, and the Pope has no business in American politics.
No, none whatsoever.
He's a religious leader. He does his thing in the Vatican for the Catholic Church, prays, blesses people, goes to heaven. I don't think he should be weighing in on politics anywhere, let alone America. He was just in Mexico, and Donald Trump is saying that the Mexican government people were telling the Pope and going after Trump.
Didn't you see the new thing now with Donald Trump? This is the new thing against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is that he's going to start World War III with his immigration policies. He's not a Christian, therefore he's going to start. I don't know how they drew these two things together, but we can dissect them one by one. They say Donald Trump's not a Christian. I don't know if he is or if he isn't. I don't know who the Pope thinks he is by telling Donald Trump, who, by the way, I don't think he even follows the Pope. I don't think he even subscribes to the Catholic Church. So Donald Trump probably can care less what the Pope has to say. Pope's a religious figure. He's got one job, pray. That's it. And wear a fancy hat. That's all he's got to do. And Pope slippers. That's all he has to do. So I don't know if Donald Trump is a serious Christian, a moderate Christian, a cafeteria, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. The point is this. Donald Trump, it's his religion. Let him figure it out. I don't think this contradicts with anything. And number two, how the hell is Donald Trump going to start World War III by building a wall? I've heard this on MSNBC several times by Lawrence O'Donnell. This guy continues to make this claim that World War III is going to be started with President Bush. President Trump. World War III. This is the new thing now. It's going to be World War III with Donald Trump of how they're going to lead to tyranny, Vito. I can't take this. The more I hear people attack Trump, the more and more I'm saying that are liberals, the more and more I'm saying, at least I kind of like what he's saying about the wall. I kind of like what he's saying about deportation and, of course, the banning of all Muslim immigration. Now, all of that coming up here on the Vito and Vito Show. When we return here to the Vito and Vito Show, we have a lot more to say. Vito, do yourself a favor.
What do you need?
Stop talking so much. When we return here to the Vito and Vito Show, we have a lot more to say about Antonin Scalia. And I'll forget about it moments of the week right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time. The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Philip Wegman of the Daily Signal talking about Antonin Scalia and his recent passing. Was he murdered? Vito has blood on his hands, and it's ridiculous. Welcome to the show, Philip.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, it's great to have you on. You're a reporter for the Daily Signal. Explain to us what is the atmosphere going around town in the office after Scalia's death and just the gravity of the situation.
Well, right now, everybody's in shock, to be honest. All of my reporter friends, all of the folks on the Hill that I talked to, everyone thought it was going to be a quiet year in Congress. And then this happened, and this has literally sucked up all of the political oxygen in Congress, at the White House, and on the campaign trail. So because of the death of Anthony Scalia, we're going to have a nomination battle that's going to dominate 2016.
Well, I mean, now the presidential campaign has completely changed course altogether. But I know there are some reports going around that Scalia was murdered. I mean, look, I'm not saying anything, but what is the evidence looking like for that? How many reporters are actually on the hunt to see the truth about Scalia? Did he die naturally, or was it out of, somebody tried to murder him? What's the story here? There's no answers, and I want to know what you got.
Well, that sounds like a great story. If you could put the evidence behind that, that would be some Walter Cronkite stuff right there. That's
Tell me
for
about
sure.
it.
But to be straight with you, I think that the reporting that's been done by the San Antonio Express, who first broke the story, and then also some of the subsequent reporting by Reuters and the Washington Post, I mean, they've really shown that it would take quite a bit for that to be true. So right now, asking that question, definitely fascinating. But following up and actually filing a report, definitely more conspiratorial. I mean, you've got Scalia's kid coming out here, his son, actually talking about how this was natural causes. And if his own family's going to dismiss those rumors right away, then I think that definitely still a conspiracy, and will just stay a conspiracy for a long time.
Hey, what about the pillow over his head? I mean, I've seen some reports about that. I mean, does that have truth behind it, or is that just some made-up baloney?
Well, so I think that report, the San Antonio Express, the guys who broke the story, they've done some great journalism down there. And as far as that pillow goes, it seems like it'd be a smoking gun, right? But I think that in particular, the owner of the lodge who was staying out clarified and was like, yeah, it was near his head, but it wasn't actually on his head. And the justice was with friends, and the justice was a really popular guy. If there was anything fishy or suspicious here, I think that it'd be safe to say not only would you have government officials looking into this, but you'd also have a lot of his own friends demanding an investigation. But Scalia was an older gentleman. He worked very hard, so I think that this is probably within natural causes.
Hey, what about Obama and the hypocrisy going on the left? Obama giving the vote for Samuel Alito in the Senate when he was senator. He said that he was going to reject voting for Alito. What's the story there? I mean, here's a guy, President Obama, who now is saying he has to uphold the Constitution, and now he's, back in 2006, in 2007, it was a completely different story. So what's why the hypocrisy? What's going on?
Well, it's funny because you think that some of these politicians just forget that Google's a thing, that archives are a thing, and you can just look back. You can look back at senator statements, president statements, just you see what they actually said. And earlier on in 2005, President Obama, he was ready to filibuster Justice Alito. Now, he's walked that back recently and said that was a mistake. But this is politics, plain and simple. Don't think for a moment that if Republicans were on the other end of this debate, they wouldn't be making similar arguments. This is just back and forth, the latest fight in an ongoing battle. And, the nomination process is the realm for that today.
All right, point at me. And we're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at Vito and Vito Show. That's very important. Please follow us at Vito and Vito Show. And check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com.
He's pleading with you, ladies and gentlemen.
Please.
See, he's...
Please.
He's pleading with you. It's unbelievable. Vito, we're talking about Anthony Scalia right now.
Yes.
And the recent death of this great Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm. definitely a loss to the country and the conservatives, of course, the country. But people, the left is disgusting. We saw online on social media that how happy some of these liberals were to see Justice Scalia die.
Yeah.
It's absolutely disgusting to see. These people were so happy, so thrilled that he died, saying, "Racist man died. He was disgusting. He ruined the country. This and that. He didn't care about women, LGBT, etc., etc." That these people are absolutely wrong. Okay, they don't understand anything. They're they're small-brained people. We know that, but it's one thing to disagree with a man, and it's another thing to be happy when somebody dies. That's disgusting, and that's cold-blooded.
Yeah, well, it's not a surprise. I mean, look what we're talking about. We're talking about the left. But when you look at the arguments presented by Scalia, the notion over, human dignity, when the left Supreme Court justices were claiming that marriage it's about the dignity of a person, and Scalia completely, in his opinion, in his dissent, completely said this is total BS. His articulated arguments are absolutely something to marvel at. Him, Clarence Thomas, those guys on the Supreme Court are just absolutely superstars, and it's a loss to the country, a loss to conservatism that he is now gone, and it's very sad, and I am heartbroken over the loss of Antonin Scalia. But more importantly, when you look at how the reactions were on Twitter, people were were basically celebrating the death of this man as if he was a tyrant, but they will sit there and they will claim that the death of Osama bin Laden, I will never forget this, when Osama bin Laden died, I was in high school and I remember seeing my high school teacher say, "Isn't it awful?" She was very liberal. She was off the rails liberal. Huge Occupy Wall Street person. And she said, "Isn't it just the disgusting and hypocritical of a country to celebrate the death of a man like Osama bin Laden?" Not because she supported bin Laden, or maybe she did, I don't know, but the fact that she thought that it was bad for a Christian country, self-described Christian country, to be celebrating death. Meanwhile, this is the same guy that killed over 3,000 Americans on 9/11. But now, what does that mean in this situation? I wonder what her reaction is for Antonin Scalia, because she has some choice words for him when I was in high school. I'll never forget, she called him a fascist. She called him a tyrant. And it was absolutely disgusting. I could not take it, Vito. It bothers me when I see the reactions on Twitter, on Facebook, and stuff like that. And it's something that I think needs to get your attention. But we have an interview lined up right now with Philip Wegman of the Daily Signal. I want you to hear what he has to say. He's a reporter, so I want you to listen to what exactly he has to say about the death of Antonin Scalia. Was he murdered? There's speculation that Scalia was murdered. I want you to listen to this, and when we return after the interview, we're going to give a little conversation on what this means for the 2016 elections now that a Supreme Court has a vacancy. Not to mention the hypocrisy of President Obama. But that's for another time. Listen to this interview here with Philip Wegman on the Vito and Vito Show. See, that's a compelling interview. That Philip was right on when he was talking about how a lot of these conspiracy theories trying to pin Scalia that he was murdered. I mean, come on. That's a tough argument to make. And if he was murdered, there should be an investigation and all that stuff like that. But his own son's coming out saying, the family of Scalia saying that it was natural causes. Wouldn't the family of the victim want to argue for some type of investigation if they legitimately thought the foul play was involved? So, yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of those arguments and theories going around, but unless our producer saying to me in my ear, unless the family murdered Scalia.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's like a bad game of Clue. That's what it is. But at least he died quail hunting.
Maybe Dick Cheney shot him.
Maybe. What is quail hunting?
It's when you go hunt quails, Vito.
What's a quail?
It's like a little bird or something.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know we're city boys. We don't really know.
We're pigeons.
Too much about quails.
We go pigeon hunting.
Pigeon hunting.
For the shit on your head.
What do you think this has to mean? What do you think this says about the 2016 elections now?
Well, the big thing was, that Hillary Clinton, the Democrats were already campaigning and fundraising off of, is that Republicans don't want Obama to do his constitutional duty, which they completely misconstrued. Because, Obama should nominate somebody. It's in the Constitution. He should do what he's supposed to do. But what conservatives should do in the Senate is block that nomination, okay? They should hear it. They should hear him out and then say no, all right, immediately. Because unless Obama decides to nominate a conservative to the Supreme Court, maybe somebody like Scalia, which I really don't see happening, he'll probably nominate somebody who is so far left that they want to get rid of the Second Amendment. People have even said maybe Loretta Lynch.
Yeah.
Okay, Hillary Clinton even once said Obama would make a good Supreme Court justice. Imagine that.
Eric Holder for Supreme Court justice.
There you go. So how can you possibly accept these people? I'm scared about McConnell and these leaders right now in the GOP would compromise, would fold, and let something like this happen.
Well, McConnell was pretty outspoken when he said he's not going to waver.
Right, just like he said we're going to repeal Obamacare.
Yeah, well.
All right, we're not going to fund Planned Parenthood. All right, they're done talking about it? All right, let's fund it.
Pretty much. I mean, this is the world we're living in, ladies and gentlemen.
Hypocrites, and they lie. Okay?
No.
So
Politicians lie.
Oh, my.
Who do you think would be better equipped to stack the Supreme Court? Ted Cruz or Donald Trump?
Cruz.
Cruz? Why?
To stack it?
To put in a brand new justice.
Well, I definitely think he'll put in a conservative.
Yeah, I say Cruz too. I think Cruz has that gravitas and the knowledge. I mean, Cruz is also so smart. Cruz can put in somebody that he knows is a powerful Supreme Court justice. It's going to be an influence. It's going to have an originalist mindset. Someone that can replace Scalia and not take over.
He was also a clerk for Rehnquist.
Right.
Which we never had a president who was a clerk for the Supreme Court before. Like that. But
vote for me because I'm a woman. Vote for me because I'm rich. Vote for me because I'm the first candidate to clerk for a Supreme Court justice. I like these whole vote for me because. I like that.
I vote with my vagina.
I like Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
No, actually, Chloe Fiorina.
Collie's out of the race, by the way. The hottest thing to walk on the GOP stage is out of the race, next to Megyn Kelly.
Chris Christie?
I said Carly Fiorina.
Oh, sorry.
All right?
I'm sorry.
Cheer up there, Charlie. But you got to look at it this way. I think that Cruz is going to be great in taking over this position. Honestly, if he were to become president, this is perfect for, well, that too, if he were to become Supreme Court Justice. But this is perfect for Ted. This should help propel him, maybe a little bit, because now the chance, when we talk about the Supreme Court, maybe voters are going to be able to say, well, wait a second, Cruz is a constitutionalist. He is an originalist. He has an extensive law background. This guy can help take over. This guy can help transform the Supreme Court.
Well, what I think the most, what's a hypocrite, is that you have the left calling out the Republicans for not wanting Obama to do his constitutional duty because Obama always follows the Constitution, as we know.
You look natural. There you go. Yeah, but Vito, let me ask you this: why wouldn't Donald Trump? He says he's going to employ the best people. He's going to put on the best of the best. He's going to bring on the brightest of the brightest, the sharks on Wall Street. Why wouldn't he bring on somebody that can replace Scalia? Why is he not qualified like Cruz is?
Because I don't know who these brilliant people are. He's endorsed many Democrats, and he's contributed money to everybody and their mothers over the last 40 years of politics.
But he was a businessman. Like I
said, but this is why I don't know who these smart people are. I do not know who these conservatives are that he'll surround himself with.
Well,
if he gives names, that's different.
Okay, but that's my problem with Trump. I don't know who are these smart people. I agree with you on there. But at the same time, you got to explain to me something right now. Donald Trump is no fool. The guy, if he's going to put in a specific deal with specific principles that he's going to outline, like building a wall for Mexico, for example, okay, or banning Muslim immigration, that means what Donald Trump is going to do is he's going to surround himself with people who genuinely feel the same way he does towards that goal, and at the same time he's going to employ their resources, put them in government, and they're going to work towards getting that accomplished. Now, why can't Donald Trump appoint somebody who's a superstar conservative to the Supreme Court? I mean, to me,
because what makes you a superstar conservative?
Well,
are you on the list that says you're the best?
No, but I think this is the ultimate issue here, which is why I can't say Trump is this. This is a make or break issue here. Trump, I don't know where Trump stands on who he wants to nominate for the Supreme Court. I don't know what his philosophy is when it comes down to the Constitution. Cruz, I know pretty well, but I can't really defend Donald Trump in this instance when he says he's going to put the best and the brightest together and he's going to nominate the greatest Supreme Court justice that he's ever nominated in this country's history. I want to know who. Who? More importantly, I want to know just what exactly is the philosophy behind Donald Trump's pick. In this instance, Cruz seems like the guy that can completely change the entire Supreme Court system. He can nominate a real constitutionalist, not a fugazi Supreme Court justice like Justice Roberts or Anthony Kennedy, but a real Supreme Court justice, someone that stood up for the Constitution like Scalia did. Cruz is the guy. There is really no way around this. Trump, maybe in other policy areas, he can come by and shine. But Cruz, he is the Supreme Court. This guy made his life building around the Constitution. You can't tell me that this is the one time we need him and he's not going to be able to fill that vacancy. The question is now, in terms of polling, is this going to affect Cruz's poll numbers to pop up in the election? I don't think so. I think his poll numbers, even though I think we just made the case that he's the best pick to nominate somebody to the Supreme Court if he were to be president, I don't think the voters care. Voters are pissed. And as a result, Donald Trump is still the favorite. So even the death of a Supreme Court justice cannot knock Donald Trump off his high horse. Isn't that something? Donald Trump is going nowhere. He's going to stay there, and he's going to continue to be the powerhouse that he is. President Obama, by the way, is a complete hypocrite. Chuck Schumer's another schmuck.
I mean, Chuck Schumer comes out and says that, the Republicans need to, not go after Obama. Saying to nominate somebody before the term's over.
Right.
But then, a few years ago, during George W. Bush's time in office, Schumer wanted, he didn't want him to appoint anybody. He said, we're going to block everything immediately.
Right.
But now going after Republicans when the conservatives say we're going to block everything. What a hypocrite. Then they call him out for it, and Schumer says, don't use my words against me.
Mm-hmm.
What? Are you a fool?
Well, this is, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. You're living in the digital age, and Wegman talked about this before. It is, you can look on Google for anything. You look on Google for anything. Literally. And you could look up President Obama where he stood on the Senate floor arguing for why Samuel Alito should not be appointed to the Supreme Court. The exact same arguments are being used. It's an election year. It's the lame duck president. Wait till the next guy comes in. Come on. This is what I mean about the Obama and the entire Democratic Party. And although I think it's a political partisan issue, you cannot say anybody is evading their responsibilities in the Constitution. Rachel Maddow was on MSNBC the other night, and she said the Republicans are complete hypocrites. All of them, they don't want conservatives, whatever. They don't want to nominate somebody to the Supreme Court. They're not following their constitutional duties, blah, blah, blah. All total BS, because the president can definitely nominate somebody, and the Senate can say, I'm not interested in hearing it, or I'm going to vote it down. That's all fine. None of that is evading the constitutional responsibilities. Liberals gave Clarence Thomas a hard time when he was picked, when he was nominated for the Supreme Court. They gave him a very hard time. There's no problem with vetting out these people. And you know what? I got no problem with Republicans or anybody saying I'm not nominating anybody to the Supreme Court, because if I do, what I'm doing is I'm solidifying Obama's ideology in 3 different places, in 3 different seats on the court. Kagan, Sotomayor, and this person. Isn't that scary? He would have influence over 3 judges on the court. 3 very liberal judges. Combine that with Ruth Ginsburg. Oh my God.
There you go.
Oh my God.
But I think Obama should pick somebody, should nominate somebody. You know, I mean, it's in the Constitution. I think it would be smart for him to do for the Democrats. But I mean, Marco Rubio came out and said that if he was in his last year as president, that he wouldn't nominate somebody.
Can you really believe that? Can you?
What do you mean?
Can you really? Or is that just a partisan trick by Rubio? Is he just pandering at this point?
Why would you not nominate somebody?
Well, because he doesn't want Obama to nominate somebody.
So, why don't you want Obama to? Because you think he should not follow the Constitution? Or do you think because he's going to nominate somebody so liberal? If you're a conservative in that position, we want you to nominate a conservative. You know, if one of the judges dies in the last year. We would want a conservative in there to replace him. Why would you wait until the next election when a liberal can get in office and make that decision? That's your decision. You should try to pass that through Senate the last year. We don't want Obama doing it because they're going to put somebody who's anti-Constitution, who's very liberal, probably even a communist.
Yeah, that's
I
a
wouldn't be
big
surprised.
jump.
I would not really.
We're going to dig up Stalin and we're going to nominate him for the Supreme Court.
I would not be surprised.
All right, listen, we're going to break. We're returning here to the Vito and Vito Show. Forget about it moments of the week right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of 2 friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
And we're back here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And it's that time of the week again. Forget about it moments of the week.
Forget about it?
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Oh, forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it moments of the week right here on the Vito and Vito Show. We're going to break down some crazy moments this past week. It's like a cool news hour, Howard Stern, Robin Quivers thing. I'm Howard. That's Robin. Take it away. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You look a little darker today. You look a little darker than usual. You got a nice little chest going on there.
Calm down, Robin.
Let's see what you got in there.
All right, how about I take Howard for now?
How about no?
Really? You want to read the Forget About It?
No. You see, if you listen to the Howard Stern Show, you know that Robin does the news and Howard comments.
Really?
Yes, that's what really happens.
Well, I don't give a damn how that show goes. It's called the Vito and Vito Show, not the Howard Stern and Robin Show.
Okay, get to the point. Come on. What's our first Forget About It moment of the week?
Obama met with Black Lives Matter in the White House. He invited them over for dinner or whatever.
He invited them over for dinner?
He met with them in the White House.
I'm not going to say... Okay. I'm not going to say anything. I just wonder what's on the menu.
Are you supposed to comment? Isn't that like...
I just wonder what's on the menu. Exactly. Okay? Here we go. I mean, I'm going to get called a racist in 3, 2, one.
What, because I can't say chicken?
Well, now, why do you think it
I
was
had chicken for dinner tonight.
What type
okay?
of chicken, Vito?
Grilled. I had grilled chicken. I think it was. It was pretty good.
Was it fried?
No. You ate with me. You were here.
Oh, man. Why? But my question is, why does the president have Black Lives Matter at his house, at his mansion, whatever?
The White House?
And why does he have Black Lives Matter there?
I don't know, maybe because he supports them.
Yeah, isn't it shocking Black Lives Matter, the same group that is advocating for the death of cops, is getting a seat literally at the dinner table at the president's home? But the president will not speak at fallen officers' funerals. He will not say something on behalf of fallen officers. But he'll be quick to condemn those like us and other pundits and other conservatives or whatever who claim that Mayor de Blasio and Al Sharpton are, infiltrating these movements, these college campuses, and pushing a radical agenda that advocates for the killing of cops. That Black Lives Matter is by definition racist. No. The president will speak out about that. He'll call us crazy and kooky and all that stuff, but he won't call out Black Lives Matter, the same organization that's pent up on killing cops. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, in New York City, right where we live, our backyard, you had people walking up the street. Al Sharpton organized march. What do we want? Dead cops. Remember that. All organized on the Black Lives Matter. Brought to you courtesy of Black Lives Matter. I saw one of the protesters, Vito, on my college campus the other day.
Oh, no.
And that was just a disaster.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, I started. I went up to them. They had a big sign. It
See?
says Black Lives Matter. And
poked
he had
the bear.
a big sign. And he says, Black Lives Matter. He's just yelling. He's all by himself. So I went over to him and I said, what's going on, pal? Why are you screaming so much? What's the matter? You hungry?
You want Snickers?
Yeah. That's a good Snickers commercial.
Yeah,
you don't look so
they'll
hungry,
go bankrupt.
Al. Yeah, like have Al Sharpton screaming and yelling, and then you go up to him, you go, hey, you feel hungry? Have a Snickers, and then you pop out. But we have, you have this crazy going on guy screaming and yelling, and he's talking about Black Lives Matter. And I go up to him and I say, well, what are you primarily protesting? He says racism. I said, well, how do you intend to fight racism? At what angle? What is racist in our society? Right away, he said the government. I said, what about the government? He says, well, and, he was stumbling over his words. So finally, he's pulled it out of his, behind, and he says, the police are racist. I go, how are the police racist? Police, they only take in black kids. I go, they only arrest black kids? I go, that's not true. There are white kids that get arrested. Granted, I will say there's certain government laws that probably hurt the black community more often than not, more often than the white community, in particular drug laws, but still at the same time. You mean to tell me cops run around and pick up black people because they're black? You kidding me? Are they serious? I go, you have any evidence to prove any of this point? You have to experience it, man. You have to experience it. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you have that white privilege. You don't understand. I go, exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly... By you telling me I don't understand what white privilege is, I don't understand Black Lives Matter, but I got to be sympathetic to it anyway, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're talking in circles. These people all about feelings. Liberals are about feelings. And that's just the nature of it, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the nature of it right here, right there. What's that second forget about it moment of the week, Vito?
In the Poconos, an 81-year-old woman was robbed, and she chased down the people who robbed her and ran them over.
Good for her.
That's awesome. I just ran them over.
Yeah, good for her.
And got her stuff back.
You know what? If somebody steals your property, threatens to kill you, anything like that, you have every right to kill them. I think so. You don't touch my stuff. It's mine.
That's right.
Yeah. You ever seen a lot of these laws, the self-defense laws, where it tells you, if you want to, if you try to aggress against me, like you punch me in the face, and I punch you, and then I take out my gun and I shoot you, I can go to jail.
Especially in New York.
Yeah, for more force than necessary. And you got to say to yourself, but what does that even mean? Like, what is that, punch for punch? What if my punch is just strong enough for you to go down? When does force become excessive? Once you violate my rights. See what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a fine line to draw there, and it's It's something like this. This woman took justice literally into her own hands. She has a legitimate reason to do what she did, and she got her stuff back. Good for her. Props. You get the Brooklyn Award. That's how you deal with problems down here. All right, Vito, what's our... I'll forget about it.
Apparently, Marco Rubio is spreading a lie that Jeb Bush is broke. So the campaign and some sources had this to say. Ready for this? The campaign missionary described the story as, quote, complete bull and it's civil war with Rubio. That's what it is.
Jesus. Wow.
Yep. That's what a source said. A source. All right.
So Marco Rubio, the slime bag candidate. Why don't they talk about him in the press? Why isn't he all over social media? Why doesn't Donald Trump call him out as a liar and a cheat?
Because he's the establishment.
Come on.
Yep. Saying that Jeb is broke. So this is just the same as Carson dropping out, which was reported by CNN. Now, Bush is broke, which nobody's reporting this, except for Rubio, which is a lie. So, Cruz is the snake for reporting the news. Rubio is the angel with the establishment, but makes up lies.
Yeah, well, that establishment money can help you so far in this game, it's unbelievable. Fox News won't talk about it. MSNBC won't. None of these things will talk about it. But Cruz, because he's so unlikable, when you ask a lot of the establishment and the senators and all that stuff, and congressmen and people in government and D.C. and all around the country, a lot of the bigwigs are going to say Cruz is just unlikable. He's unlikable. You're kidding me, right?
Right, like they're running for class president.
Yeah, that's really what this is about. He's unlikable. But somehow, someway, Marco Rubio is the most likable guy in the room. Can anybody explain that to me, please? Marco Rubio, the most likable guy in the room. Yeah, get out of here.
He is likable.
I wouldn't want to have a beer with him.
I would. He's a nice guy.
You got to pick one candidate to have a beer with. Who to pick?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Oh, that guy started a bar fight in a second.
and I make him pay for it, too. You go to top shelf stuff with the Donald.
There you go.
Yep.
You put out his wallet underneath his hair.
Oh.
And pay for everything.
That's why he's so rich. He hides all his money underneath his hair.
That's how he probably came up with his idea to run for president. I want to build a wall. Donald, you're drunk. Mexico's going to pay for it. Come on. You're drunk. Get home.
Oh.
I'm running for president. And then here he is. He announced his presidency when he's hungover and everything. It's working so far. This week, drunk decisions.
I understand you have another forget about a moment.
Yes. President Obama will be missing Scalia's funeral.
Oh, you see what I mean?
Do you know why?
Why?
No, me neither.
He's probably playing golf.
They didn't say.
He's hitting the back nine.
There you go.
Stay classy, Mr. President. Stay real classy.
He's missing the funeral. Just like every cop's funeral has lost their lives. The line of duty.
He's going to miss a Supreme Court justice's funeral.
Yes.
Doesn't that just say something about the character of this man?
It's disgusting.
You're the president of the United States. You're not some guy. You're the president. You're the president of the United States. For 7 years, 8 years, when you do your State of the Union, he's sitting in the front row listening to you gabber on. You can't go...
Next to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fall asleep and drool all over herself.
You can't turn around and go to the Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia's funeral. Wow.
They didn't give a reason. They didn't say why. It's not like he has an important secret meeting with Putin in Antarctica or something. No reason. They didn't say this. Like, Ted Cruz will be missing it, and many other Republican candidates. But it's the day of the primary.
Hey, I don't even care about that. He's not the president. The president, then he goes to different, funerals of Nelson Mandela around the world, and he's taking selfies with people. President Bush, W. Bush, he attended Chief Justice William Rehnquist's funeral. And he eulogized him. But Obama won't even show up to Antonin Scalia's funeral. Isn't that just disgusting?
It doesn't surprise me anymore.
Shocking, isn't it? This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the absolute, classiest man, The best president everybody on the left keeps talking about. The coolest president. He's a scum. I can't stand this president. Listen, we're signing off here in the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. We're signing off in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the...
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of two friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
Yeah.